So much has been made over the last few months about the Great Resignation, and we're definitely seeing it in lots of sectors, like the talk about war on talent. And I know loads of people are in the process of either looking for a new job or moving, or have just kind of accepted a new role. So I just thought I'd do a quick video about some of the things you should be thinking about if you've got a job offer on the table. Because actually you may not have been through this process that many times, or it might be the first time you're thinking about moving on from where you are. And so I'm just going to run through some quick questions that you can ask yourself just to make sure that you've got the right offer for you. So the first one, which might seem a bit strange because you've already obviously gone through the process of applying for another job, but is understanding, do you really want to leave the current job you're in, or is there just something that's not quite right? So understanding if you've got a push factor away from your current job, is there something that you're not happy with or you think could be better? Or is there something really attractive or a pull factor about this new role? So understanding exactly what it is that you're looking to change. Now, for loads of people, that's recently it's been about location, or it might be about working hours or expectations around working. And of course, there are factors such as salary, career progression, opportunity, but understanding exactly what it is that you want from this job. And then saying, actually, could I get that where I currently am? So because of the war on talent, most organisations, if you're good at your job, will look to counter offer you. So whatever the job offer is that you've got on the table, your existing employer is probably likely to try and put up a counter offer. But if you can understand what your factors are that are really important to you about this new job offer, that's going to put you in a much stronger bargaining position. So if it's just a financial thing and actually your current job can match that package, would you be happy to stay? Or is it something about you would like a career or training opportunity, you'd like some progression assurance, or you'd like to try and work on a different type of project or a different client? Or is there something about the culture? So just thinking about exactly what are the factors that are really attractive about this job, and actually can you be better off to get them in the job that you're in now? Because when you move company or move job, obviously there's a lot of upsides, but it comes with an element of risk. You may not like it. The organisation that is courting you at the moment, is trying to make itself look really good, but actually once you get in there, perhaps the culture isn't right or the opportunities won't be there. And sometimes better the devil you know. So actually, if you can get what you want from the current employer or where you currently are, that might be a better option for you. But if you've got this job offer on the table, really break down for you what are the important things, what are the game changers for you, what are the deal breakers, and then once you start to have that conversation with your current employer, which is probably going to happen, you at least know what you're looking to match. They may not be able to match on every element, but they may well be able to match on most, and that might be good enough for you. The second thing is to think about how much you want the new role. And this is kind of where the head versus heart goes in. So in my career, there's definitely been some job offers which are absolute no-brainers, it's such an exciting opportunity, or it's so different from what I currently do that absolutely, I almost don't really care about some of the terms and conditions. That's definitely a heart one. I definitely want to go for it. And then there's been other jobs which have been a bit more of a head kind of consideration. So they're good on a number of factors, but I'm not super excited about it. So think for yourself about understanding what's absolutely this is my dream job or my dream industry, in which case it's a no-brainer, you should take that job offer. But if it's more of a think about actually for the hassle of moving, is that something you really want to do? Or are you better off refocusing where you are? So understanding exactly if it doesn't quite feel right. I'm a big believer in gut feelings on these things. How have your interactions been with the recruiters? Are they able to set up a coffee with the teammates that you're going to be working with should you accept? Is there any other due diligence you want to do about the company, or can you speak to someone else who perhaps used to work there? I wouldn't particularly rely on Glassdoor because it's not always the most reflective, and it's either tends to be slightly aggrieved people who've moved on, who might be for valid reasons. But if you can try and talk to someone who's actually in that team right now, and if a company's got the right culture, they'll be really open to that. But perhaps if not, then that's a flag to you that it might not be the best fit for you. So think about those head versus heart decisions. Absolutely, I don't really care. I just want to go for it. It sounds so exciting. But making sure you back that up with a bit of kind of knowledge that that's actually what's going to happen, rather than them promising a lot to you interview. But actually, I've heard some real horror stories from colleagues who've moved on and it turned out it wasn't what they offered, or wasn't quite what they sold to them at interview. So make sure you've done some due diligence to understand that kind of process. And then the final thing, if you are thinking about that job offer, is opening up the dialogue. So open up the dialogue with the people who've made you the offer. Don't ghost them or go quiet on them. It's kind of really bad form, and actually reputations get around within industries. So make sure that you're having an honest and open conversation with them. So if you are in the process of talking to your existing employer, let them know that. because that gets them ready to negotiate more if they need to. So rather than just a cold, like, oh, I'm not going to accept your offer, I'm going to go with a counter offer from my existing organisation, start to open up a conversation, because they've gone through all the hassle of advertising, interviewing, making you an offer. So they've probably got some wiggle room their side. So there may be something they can give on. It's not always about the money. It might be more flexibility. It might be shorter working hours. It might be some perks. It might be commitment to a specific qualification or training session. But understand by opening up that dialogue with them, perhaps where they can move. And then that will help you, again, consider the two offers that you have on the table by understanding what their kind of perception is. But it's important that you show you are really engaged with them and you still are really thankful that they've made the offer. You're excited about working with them for certain reasons. Don't start to play very hardball with them, because that will turn the recruiters off. So just make sure that you're having really positive and interactive conversations with them, and that you don't just go cold and kind of cut them out, because that's not going to help you in the long run. The next thing to do with both offers, if you've got them, is don't haggle about the small stuff. So understand what those big kind of game changers are for you, or the deal breakers, because your counter offer may not match exactly the other offer you have, or vice versa. But understanding what the really things that are important to you and what are kind of nice to haves, or that would be perfect, but actually you can live without it. So again, when you're going into the negotiation process, you'll know where your boundaries are and you'll know what you're prepared to give on and what you're not. And then finally, a lot of us find it really difficult to have these types of conversations, particularly if we're talking about money, because a lot of us weren't really brought up to talk about money, or we might be worried about coming across as too aggressive or playing too hardball. So don't be afraid to practice the conversation with a friend or a colleague who knows what the situation is, so that you get comfortable with expressing what you want and what you need. And don't be afraid to back it up with an email or something in writing if that allows you to structure your thoughts a little bit further. So just make sure that you're really clear about how you're asking for the offer and making sure that you're doing that in a constructive way. And as I say, like, practicing with someone's a really good way to get comfortable with saying those kind of words. It's not something we often ask for. And again, if it's the first time you've done this, getting someone else's perspective on good phrases to use or good things that you can say will be really helpful. So if you are going through that kind of process at the moment, please leave a comment below. I'd love to know what your challenges are or what you would have perhaps done differently. I am someone who's kind of moved around quite a lot in my career, so I'm quite used to having these conversations, but they are quite difficult when you're first having them. And you don't want to kind of go too hard or too soft, or kind of regret when you're in a new job that you didn't perhaps push for some things that are really important to you, or indeed not give your current employer the opportunity to try and retain you if you feel that is something that would be positive for you. I'm Liz, and here on my channel we talk about management and leadership things, and generally try and share tips and tricks to help you navigate your career and feel more confident in what you're doing. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.